I'd like to call Iberia Council meeting to order. Date February the 26, 2020. It is now 6 p.m. We'll begin with the opening prayer by Marty.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day you have given us. Thank you for blessing us, dear Lord. Give us the courage to do our work as we are here today to the betterment of this parish, dear Lord. We pray for our soldiers across, dear Lord, and just give us traveling grace. In Jesus' name I pray.
Amen. Amen. Tommy?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to remind everyone to silence their phone, please. Roll call.
Tommy Pollard. Here. Michael Landry.
Here.
Brad Davis.
Here.
Lloyd Brown.
Here.
Warren Goshesang.
Here.
Natalie Broussard. Here. Paul Landry. James Trahan. Scott Rossonay. Here. Eugene Olivier.
Here.
Brian Napier. Here. Lady Fontenette Brown. Marty Trahan.
Here.
Chad Macharan.
Here.
We have a quorum. James Trahan did let me know that he wouldn't be here tonight. At this time, we're getting ready to go into public comments. Normally, we allow 3 minutes per person. Since we have some agencies reporting tonight, we'll allow them more time. I need a motion and a second to go into public comment. I have a motion by Tommy Pollard and a second by Lloyd Brown. Roll call. That motion carries. We're now in public comment. Number 1, comment from the general public on non-agenda items. Iberia Parish County Agent Blair Hebert to address the council to present their official annual report. Mr. Hebert?
Thank you, Mr. Eugene. Ladies and gentlemen, the Iberia Parish Council, Parish President. It's once again an honor to come up here and give our annual report to the Iberia Parish Council and Iberia Parish government. On behalf of the LSU Ag Center, for those of you who've been on the council for a while, you know who I am. You'll see most of the familiar faces. For those of you who are newly elected, nice to meet you. We think we have a very good working relationship, actually maybe an excellent working relationship with the council. We think that's why our programs are successful here in Iberia Parish. Just to let you all know or remind you of what the LSU Ag Center is, it's actually 3 components. There's the teaching component, which is the College of Agriculture on the main campus in Baton Rouge. There's the extension offices. There's 64, one in every parish. We moved in 2014, I think it was, out to the annex. We just a block away. If you ever need to come see us, we there, and I know several of you will come visit us there. And then we also have research stations. We have research, and Iberia has a research station out in Jeanerette, on the backside of Jeanerette Senior High. Basically, about 8 or 9 years ago, we did lease the property across the street from Jeanerette Senior High. If y'all wondered what happened to the cattle there, now it's all in sugarcane. We leased that out. And then where what we call the headquarters side, we're working on a lease. Miss Natalie, the attorneys in Baton Rouge, are working up all that, dotting the I's and crossing the T's. As soon as we have information on that, we expect that to come out in 2020. I think it's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of another 200 to 250 acres that'll be leased out at the Jeanerette Research Station. Also, for those of you familiar with that station, Dr. Sonny Viator has been the resident director there for probably 40 years. He retired in January, and right now the interim is our regional director, Dr. Kurt Guidry. He's out of Crowley, and he gets there several times a week. Here at the Iberia Extension Office, we cover 3 areas: agriculture and natural resources, family and consumer sciences, and forward youth development. I'm going to kind of take the bat on ANR, our agriculture and natural resources, and the rest of the staff will kind of highlight what they do. In Iberia Parish, if you're going to talk about agriculture, you got to talk about sugarcane. In your summary that you have in your burgundy folders, the Iberia Parish profile, you're going to see what we estimate agriculture to be, what its net value is supposed to be at. If you look at the first page, I want to let you know That's based on the 2018 Ag Summary figures. Our Ag Summary figures for 2019 are due Friday. Last year, the state average was about 8,600 pounds of sugar per acre. Iberia came in around 8,300. So those numbers that you're looking at for our ag profile are good. This year, the state average went from 8,500 down to about 6,700, 6,800, and I think Iberia Parish is going to fall in that same area, about 6,700, 6,900 pounds of sugar per acre. So when I show you the values at the 2021 meeting that are reflective of 2019, it'll be a little different. We used to try to make this meeting in the fall, but with the election and everything, we decided to come and wait till all the new council members were in-house. Again, thank you for everything that we're able to do, whether it's out of the research station or out at one of the parish facilities. I know I saw Mr. Scott at a meeting last week. Just to let you know, in January, we had our production academy. We had about 100 producers there. On February 11th, we had our pesticide recertification and our burn recertification meeting, and we had over 200 people come and do that. So without y'all help, we wouldn't be able to do that for those farmers. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to the rest of the staff. They're going to say a few things, Mr. Eugene. We're going to try to keep it short, and if y'all have any questions, we'll answer them at the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Blair.
Thank you, Blair. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mandy Ormantar. I am the Area Nutrition Agent with the LSU Ag Center. I am actually shared by Iberia Parish and Vermilion Parish, and my coworker, Ray Abair, who is domiciled here in Iberia Parish. We offer nutrition education classes. Currently, she's got parenting classes that are tied into nutrition through referrals from the Louisiana Workforce Commission. This is a mandated program. We get the referrals, we provide the parenting education, and the Workforce Commission checks that off, and that's ineligible for those people to receive their vouchers, whether it's child care assistance or job readiness programs. We offer nutrition education classes in 4 schools: Coteau Elementary, Daspit Elementary, Caneview Elementary, and Iberia Middle School's SPED classes. We are going into those schools once a month and doing those nutrition education classes. Our ARC clients are also receiving a monthly nutrition education lesson. And then we have a very strong partnership with the Iberia Parish Library System. We continue to offer a monthly class for youth and adults. It's a cooking and nutrition program where they come together and actually prepare healthy recipes and learn nutrition. Also, throughout the summertime and any other classes that the library would like to offer, they usually contact me and we kind of form a partnership and do those classes. And last but not least, something we're starting is later this month, in partnership with the Parenting Education Center with the Iberia Parish School Board, we're going to offer 6-week nutrition classes for parents. If they're interested, they can come and get a hands-on nutrition lesson. And this is just kind of a partnership with one of our other entities that we've sought out a need for. I'm going to turn it over to our 4-H agents, Patrice Cahey and Maddox Miller, for the 4-H Youth Development Program highlights.
Thank you, Mandy.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Patrice Cahey, and I'm one of the 4-H agents here at Iberia Parish. So a few things that we do with 4-H, we go into all of the schools. We have 4-H clubs at all of the schools in Iberia Parish. So we service about 800 students throughout each year. And that number, of course, is growing because we go through 4th grade all the way to 12th grade. We do lesson studies. So our lesson study this year is a club program where we get to teach them things. And, of course, this year we're also doing nutrition. It's nutrition from the garden. So they're also learning about gardening, healthy eating, healthy living, how to, fresh fruits and vegetables, where they come from as well. And they take all of those lessons, and also in conjunction with Mandy Armentar, we have Cooking 101, which is a club where they're able to come and do lessons where they learn recipes. They can also take the book home and work on those recipes at home because, of course, we want to promote healthy eating, not just with them at school, but at home as well, and getting their parents involved in doing it as well. And then there's Kids Chef Camp that we sometimes have in the summertime as well. About a 2-day event. They get to make a ton of recipes as a group. It's about 25 kids that come out, and we give them a cookbook along with many other items such as, just cooking utensils that they can bring home as well, show to their parents. And also there's a cookbook for that as well for them to use. So that's pretty much what we do on our end with part of our end, as far as on working with 4-H. And I'll turn it over to Maddox Miller, and he'll give you a little bit more information as well.
Thank you, Patrice.
All right, good evening. My name is Maddox Miller, the other 4-H agent in Iberia Parish. If you could, in our booklet, in the folder, we do have Iberia Parish 4-H Youth Development Program, kind of a brochure of some of the things that we offer, some pictures of some of the different events. So one of the misconceptions about the 4-H program is that it rotates around livestock. We have a very broad program. We offer, something for everybody. If we always tell the kids at our first meetings that if you're interested in anything regarding, whether that's cooking, whether that's, citizenship, whether that's, our summer camp program, there's something for everybody in 4-H. So looking at some of the highlights of the 4-H program, we have a summer camp each year. We bring approximately 85 youth to up at Camp Grant Walker. We brought several students to the state capitol and the USS Kidd last year for our junior winners trip. So in a lot of ways, 4-H helps to broaden the horizons of a lot of the youth in Iberia Parish. And some of these trips, whether that's to Alexandria, whether that's to Baton Rouge, sometimes it's the youth's first opportunity to get out of the parish and to kind of see things, away from home and to kind of, have a bigger perspective. And at 4-H University, there's opportunities where these youth, put their mind to a specific contest. They're able to win trips to different states even. So there's a lot of really great opportunities. We have, different project clubs, Science, Engineering, Technology Project Club, as well as the Cooking 101 Project Club. We offer a shooting sports program with archery. So a very broad program, and we appreciate all of the local support that we get from you.
Thank you, Matt.
And usually our fisheries agent, Mr. Tom Email, is here. Tom is housed out at the Iberia Research Station. Tom couldn't make it tonight, but he did want me to mention, to remind y'all that the Delcom Direct program continues to work very, very well. That's part of the Sea Grant program that we have. If you're not familiar with Delcom Direct, all of our numbers are in your packets. Give us a call. We'll tell you how Delcom Direct works. Scott can just walk you over if you need to. And one of the things they're doing is trying to promote Louisiana caught fresh, get it right to people. And even with some things that fishermen they couldn't sell. Now they're able to sell that, so instead of having to throw that overboard, they're bringing that in. And Tom and I were asked to go to a meeting this summer with all the Southeast Conference is where Louisiana falls in, and all those program leaders who deal with A&R came down to LSU to Baton Rouge, and Tom and I were asked to go, and we kind of featured what we're doing with Delcom Direct, how that's working, and of course we fed them some fresh caught fish and shrimp, and how easy it was to prepare them. Andy, we did do it healthy, so they were impressed with all that. But again, LSU Ag Center is here in Iberia Parish. I think we have our packets. You can contact us. We all live here. I'm the only one who's not from Iberia. The rest of the staff is not only working here, but from here. And we're glad to serve, and we couldn't do it without all y'all help. We appreciate it. And Mr. Jean, you have any questions, we'll be glad to answer.
Sure. Is there any questions from anyone? I don't see any. So, Blair, thanks a lot for your presentation, and y'all continue the great work y'all doing for Iberia Parish. Thank you. We'll move on to number 2, comments from general public on agenda item. We have Ms. Donnie Viator, interim CEO of Iberia Medical Center, to discuss the 2019 FY audit of Iberia Parish Medical Center. Summary number 31 should be talking about. Ms. Viator?
Thank you. Good evening, Parish Council and Parish President. My name's Dion Viator, the interim CEO of Iberia Medical Center. I'd also like to thank Deacon Roland Jean-Louis, who is our newest board member at Iberia Medical Center, for him coming tonight and supporting this presentation. So I appreciate that. Tonight I'm here to talk a little bit about the audited financial statement that you should already have had delivered in your packet. And also a few other, just an update of some things that positive things we have going on at the hospital. Your hospital leadership, I am your interim CEO. Shane Myers, who has been in the organization 27 years, is the Chief Operating Officer. Sandy Moran has been in the organization about a year. She is your Chief Nursing Officer. And Lori Spann, who has been at the hospital about 25 years, is our Vice President of HR. About Iberia Medical Center, this is a busy slide that talks about us being created in 1960. We are 146 beds, which is very different than a few years ago when we were 101 beds. We've had significant growth. Of course, we have our 24-hour emergency room and a lot of services that we provide. I've highlighted in red on the slides some of the newest services that we've opened just during the past year: an inpatient rehab service, inpatient and outpatient behavioral health services, and a hepatitis C clinic. So continuing to expand and grow. It's easier to say what we don't do than what we do. And basically, we are a full-service hospital, but we do not do brain surgery, we do not do open heart surgery, and we do not have intensive care services that require pediatric specialties. Other than that, we are a full-service facility. We've been honored over the course of the last year to be voted the best of the Tesh hospital, awarded the Business Impact Award by the Iberia Chamber of Commerce, as well as other awards about the best place to have a baby in Acadiana and wound care certifications. We pass very strenuous certifications with Joint Commission. Our lab is accredited. Our pathology department's accredited. Our radiology area is accredited. Our cardiac cath rehab is accredited. And this is the gold standard in healthcare. So, right down the street, you have all of these high-level services. We're very proud of the quality that we provide at Iberia Medical Center, and I just wanted to show you a quick snip of the Medicare.gov. CMS does a star rating that indicates the quality of hospitals. It is very tough criteria, and I just wanted to show you that Iberia Medical Center, we are ranked as a 3 out of 5 stars at this point, continuing to improve. Comparing to Our Lady of Lourdes is a 2-star, and Lafayette General is a 4-star. So you have high quality care right here in New Iberia. Our overall profile, kind of where we are now, we have $52 million in annual payroll. We have over 800 team members. We see about 7,600 admissions every year, almost 300 deliveries. Between the ER visits, the outpatient tests, the clinic visits that we do, we have about 500 patients a day coming through our doors. To the audit, wanted to share with you with the audit that you have in front of you. The first sentence here is, this is a slide that looks a little different than my previous slides because this is directly from BKD, our external auditor's presentation to the Iberia Medical Center Board of Commissioners. Prepared to issue a clean opinion has been issued. They had no audit adjustments for Iberia Medical Center, so the reported profit and loss and balance sheet was as we have previously submitted to the organization. We also went through Louisiana legislative audit process, and their findings was the last sentence there, completed all their procedures without findings. Our statement of revenues and expenses are summarized here, trending. Prior to the Dotrieve or North Campus acquisition, you can see in 2015, the net revenue of the organization was $63 million. As of 2019, we were a $102 million organization. So over the course of the last 5 years, the size and scope of the services of the hospital and the revenue base has almost doubled. Another thing to point out here is the overall expenses. If you look at the salaries, wages, and benefits line, you can see that we have $52 million in overall salaries, wages, and benefits. That's about 50% of our revenue is spent on labor. We are a service industry, so it is about our team members there. The bottom line, you can see that we made $1.3 million in surplus that we're able to reinvest into the organization. That is a decline of about $2.7 million from 2018. The reason for that decline of $2.7 million, we had a $4.1 million increase in our retirement expense. There were a couple of reasons for that. The retirement plan, the PERS retirement plan, parochial retirement plan, it had an investment loss of 5.67% in 2018. And in addition to that, Iberia Medical Center is now the third largest of all employers in that parochial retirement plan. So our proportion of the plan's overall expenses increased in the past year too. So with that negative, or that $4 million increase, Iberia Medical Center spent $4 million in retirement expense in 2018. Our cost for our retirement plan in 2019 was $8.2 million. So other than that, that part of that increase was offset by increase in patient care services done at a profit, an increased profit of about $1.4 million. So overall, we were in a good, efficient place operationally. We don't expect that retirement plan expense to be the same magnitude in this year, 2020, because what we're already seeing with the plan investments, they are at a profit this year with the investments instead of a loss position. How has this surplus that we earned, how has it been reinvested? So just in the year fiscal 2019, I'm not going to read this slide to you, but just overall, we're reinvesting heavily in ourselves with new chemistry analyzers that allow our technicians to do an enhanced test. We have invested in all new cardiac telemetry patient monitoring. We have all new an enhanced labor and delivery fetal monitoring system. This is where our physicians, our OBGYN physicians, can monitor the heartbeat and vital signs of an infant in womb through remotely and even on their iPhone if they're not at the hospital. So this is advanced technology for the care of our patients. A lot of new surgical equipment for our operating rooms, and a significant investment in our electronic health record and our security firewalls within our system. Other infrastructure improvements that we made over the course of the last year were some HVAC replacements in the emergency room and dietary. We renovated the Generette Rural Health Clinic. We've done some security upgrades with our camera systems, and as well as our security platform within information technology. We've done a lot over the course of the last year with physician recruitment. We brought some new physicians into the community. Dr. Wayne Lindeman, he is a physical medicine and rehab physician, a physiatrist. He is now full-time in New Iberia at our inpatient rehab unit. We opened our inpatient rehab unit about a year ago. It took us that long to be able to recruit the specialty of a physician, physiatrist, and he joined us in December. We've hired a new Dr. Damien Delhomme, a new OBGYN, who started with us in February of 2020. Dr. Raina Elsabah, nephrologist, and Dr. Oliver Achi, a neurologist. We've also worked with Dr. Paul Galata, who was retiring and closing his practice, to become a full-time cardiac hospitalist for us, which is very important and supportive to our emergency room. As cardiac events are presented to the emergency room, most of the time we have him right there in the hospital and on site. We've also recruited a new general surgeon and a new ENT to join us in 2020 and 2021, and still recruiting more primary care physicians into the community. I want to talk a little bit about our significant investments moving forward, and just about our overall economic impact to the community. First, I'll start with a few comments about the economic impact of the hospital. You know, in addition to the community service that Iberia Medical Center provides, we are a strong economic force in the parish. We rank in the top 5 employers in the parish. We have 829 employees, approximately 60% of those with a primary residence in Iberia Parish. So of our $52 million in payroll and benefit expense, $33 million of that stays in Iberia Parish with an Iberia Parish resident. Any income stream for any long-term employees in the hospital continues right here in the parish. Although not all employees live in the parish, most shop, buy gas, groceries, go to restaurants, and spend their earnings here, even if they don't live in the parish. Another statistic is that for every physician recruited into the community, it creates at least 5 more jobs in the area. Other contributions that are harder to measure are the number of prescriptions that leave our facility, going to the local pharmacies, local DME companies, home health, transportation companies, all serving the needs of our patients. Moving forward to continued investment. Thank you for supporting our bond issuance that we were able to do in August of this year. $11 million. All the bonds were purchased by Iberia Bank. A 15-year repayment term. We were able to achieve a 3.15% fixed interest rate. These bonds are backed, as you know, by the collateral of our revenue stream, not by the parish at all. Our anticipated use of the funds is about 70% infrastructure and about 30% growth initiatives. That was very important in conversation with our purchasers of our bonds, because they wanted to make sure we were able to shore up our facility, but just as important, they wanted to make sure we were growing and had the ability to repay the bonds. So that's the split. Clearly, we could spend the entire $11 million on the facility, but that's the split we've agreed to, and think that'll serve us well. Some of the things that we plan on doing on the infrastructure side, additional HVAC and replacement of 2 chillers. Our medical office building cooling towers have been replaced. A lot of fire door replacements, and a new pharmacy compounding mixing room is in progress. The main campus roof replacement. This can't come soon enough for me. It is currently out to bid. And hopefully we will be able to, our board will be able to award that project at the March meeting. After that, the project will probably take about 4 months to complete, but we will be able to prioritize where the work begins so that we don't have to wait the full 4 months for the relief that we need in certain areas of the hospital that are getting more water than we'd like. Other than that, we have other plant infrastructure projects and electrical upgrades that we are prioritizing at this time. The first of the funds that we've spent on the growth initiative has been the addition of the technology of orthopedic robot to the organization. So we bought a Mako robot, and how this technology is different and state-of-the-art is that a patient who needs a total knee replacement would come in and get a CT scan of the knee. From that CT scan of the knee, the technology goes into software, and that software then has the ability to look exactly where the diseased bone is and exactly to the millimeter, centimeter, how much needs to be carved out of the bones, and exactly how the implant needs to be sized and layered back in for alignment. With all of this programming done, the physician makes any adjustments that need to be done. That program and software go into the OR with this robot. This robot you see sticking out to the side, that's a blade. This is in the physician's hand, and as they are making their incisions, if they make anything that's outside of that computer software plan, the blade shuts off it won't let them, in Dr. Seth Rosenzweig's words, it won't let them color outside the line. They take minimalistic diseased bone off. It gives them the precise alignment to move forward. So what this does is, just gives them the consistency time after time of doing it exactly right for alignment. So hopefully the longevity of any implant is going to last you much longer if you have the precise alignment. So thrilled about that, and we have 2 surgeons that are certified in that right now, Dr. Andre Sinak and Dr. Seth Rosenzweig. We're hopeful that other of our orthopedics will also be trained on that. So new and exciting technology for us right here at home. Of course, I have to end the slide here, the presentation here with, we have continued challenges in the healthcare industry. We have a complex regulatory environment. We work every day on talent recruitment, both nurses and physicians into the community. And our funding, about 75% of our funding comes from federal and state sources between Medicare and Medicaid. And so with that 75%, as you read in the paper and directly in working with our state representatives, how important that is to us. So we continue down that journey and appreciate the support of our delegation. That's all I had for you, unless there's any questions. I close by saying, it's our 60th anniversary, Iberia Medical Center, this year. And it is an honor and a privilege to serve this community.
Any questions? Mr. Richard?
I just want to tell you, it's been extremely nice. Appreciate you keeping the administration and the council informed with what's going on at the hospital. It's a great thing. It really is. I really appreciate working with you a lot. You're doing a fantastic job. And Mr. Chairman, I have one more thing to say. I got a text from Councilman Lady Brown. She's delayed because there's a very bad accident somewhere, wherever she's at. She's on her way here, but she's delayed because of an accident.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Richard.
Thank you.
Ms. Viator, I just want to say that, it's real nice to see the operating revenue continue to increase from year to year. And I can see where y'all are really controlling expenses and the profits y'all making at the hospital. You're actually reinvesting it back into the hospital system. So my hats go out to the staff, you as well as all the doctors and nurses and everybody else at the hospital. Y'all doing a great job.
Thank you. We appreciate
right.
your support.
Okay, bye. I need a motion now to go back in the regular section. A motion in a second. I have a motion by Lloyd Brown, a second by Michael Landry. Roll call. That motion carries. We're now back in regular section. Reports, financial administration action, there is none. Reports, parish and other government agency. The monthly billing report dated January 2020 is in your package. Public Works report, there is none. Special business, there is none. Council member announcements. Any council member announcements? Paul Landry.
As most of y'all know, we went to the Police Jury Association convention in Shreveport 2 weeks ago, Wednesday through Friday. I had 3 other different seminars that I attended. The first one was with the government offices. They're asking us all to get on our toes for the 2020 census. They did talk again about with Walmart and Amazon delivering to the homes, that the taxes will be paid to the zip code. So if you have a city or something that's in another community's zip code, part of your tax dollars will be going over there. They encouraged us to get hackers insurance. They said it's not if we're going to get hacked, we will be getting hacked eventually, so we should look into that. The state does not have funds for rural water systems, so that's pretty much over. And then my last comment, I'll talk about the USDA. They talked a lot about the Real ID that's going to be coming out October 20th. If you're going to be doing any traveling and things, you should go ahead and get the new ID, and they also explain that you can get it in an app on your phone so that you can And then the next meeting I went was with Wildlife and Fisheries. They have 1.5 million acres, 53 wildlife areas. They just finished Queen's Best, which is a pelican restoration area. They talked about red snapper numbers are over, and the U.S. government just gave Louisiana, we're going to manage the fish in the 200 miles in the Gulf. There's 1,200 black bears, and there's going to be a new black bear hunting season coming open. Archery, as the 4-H group Blair and them talked about, is a big push. It teaches discipline. 8 to 9 million acres of lakes are being sprayed. They have that giant salvania weed, and it's starting to get out of control. So that's something in some of our Spanish lake and things. And California's put a ban on alligator ports, so that's hurting the industry there because they don't have the market. And hogs are a problem. They're about to go to 24-hour hunting. USDA program, $1.3 billion for Louisiana. If we happen to go through that amount of money, we can also go to other states that are not using all of theirs, and we would be able to get it. The big push is going to be on water, sewer, housing, and broadband is the new thing. Reconnect business programs are going to be the big push. They gave us a little app thing, and as you drive around the parish, you can press the button, and it sends to them the signal strength of internet in that area, so that it's going to tell them that's an area that we want to go with. We had a very good meeting. Mr. Reshord stayed after that one, and we made some pretty good contacts. So I'm going to encourage the administration, maybe get a couple of us and start looking at some of our issues. Grand Mary, Lydia, Bull Island, some of those areas, as well as the communities of Jeanerette and Laurelville. If we can get with y'all on there, there's things if an individual's credit rating is good enough, you can get like $20,000 to fix up your house. So that sometimes it's a loan, sometimes it's a grant loan, sometimes it's a downright grant. So you could, have some of your people in your community, they could save on their electric bills, heating bills, water bills, things like that. And even though they'd have a little note to pay the bank or whatever, they could actually make money on this program, so get their bills down. So that's about it. We got a lot from the USDA, and I think we need to jump into that.
Thank you, Paul. Natalie?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody who attended. I think we had 7 council members. In addition to Paul, I had the honor of chauffeuring Paul and Brad and James Trahan. I'm not going to ask them to comment on the driving, but yeah, we all made it there safely and made it back safely. We did go to sexual harassment training as well as ethics training. The zeros and commas are adding up. In addition to the other meetings, I went to some of the meetings that Mr. Landry went to, but I also went to the criminal justice, the economic development, and the legal sessions. And we did learn a lot. We had several meetings with Mr. Reshord. We all did what we've done in the past and split up and went to different sessions to make sure as many sessions were covered as possible. Mr. Eugene was there. Tommy Pollard was there. Michael Landry was there. I mean, we had 7 council members and Larry Reshord. So I thought we had a very good representation, and I just want to thank all of my fellow council members for going. I know it cost us some money out of pocket, but I appreciate y'all's dedication and commitment to Iberia Parish. So thank y'all for coming.
Thank you, Natalie. Michael Landry?
Before I start, I want to congratulate Eugene. He's our new at-large member on the board for the Police Jury Association. So job well done, Eugene.
Thank you.
And chairman of the Black Caucus of the.
Right. Correct,
So
yeah.
we have one councilman who's really ascending.
Thank you, Michael.
I attended several workshops. One was the DOT. Our secretary wasn't able to be there, but they spoke about the projects we got going on around the state, the I-49, extension which they're working on and they hope to have in the next few years. I also went to the DEQ, which I know tires is a problem, illegal tire dumping, and they think they're really looking at making this a felony. I believe they're going to bring it to the state legislature this year. And there's only 4 places, I think, in the state that accept our tires. And they subsidize them, I think, 4 and 5 cents per tire. But if it's one way, if they shred the tire down to the bottom and put it into like asphalt, it strengthens the asphalt, and they'll give them 8 to 9 cents. So they're trying to get some more places to take tires, but they say it's really becoming a problem. So it's looking at really doing something to try to stop this. So, and that was the gist of it. Also, I went to emergency safety. The state fire marshal done this, and he's saying they got a computerized system now. If we all start putting into it, it's going to help us out in the long run with money on insurance and everything else, our ratings and all this. So very good meeting, and as Natalie and Paul said, it's several of us, and we all really came away with a lot, made some good connections. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. I got a few comments I'd like to make also about the conference. I attended the resolution business section where we passed 7 resolutions at the conference. One in reference to the Unclaimed Property Trust Fund, another one dealing with Lincoln Parish Legislative Delegation, dealing with severance tax exemption, resolution dealing with the raising of dollar amount for contract limits on contracts in the Public Works Department, a resolution encouraging the LLD to help pursue the elimination of severance tax cap on parishes that are currently capped under the state disbursement structure of oil and gas severance tax. Also dealt with some resolution dealing with the constitutional bylaws of the Police Bureau Association. Also, we dealt with a resolution studying and evaluating and revising the law of the state as regarding to statutorial unfunded mandates imposed upon parishes, and also a resolution in supporting of coastal parishes related to the increase in the Go Mesa revenue sharing with the Gulf of Mexico states. That's my report of the conference. It was a great conference. I really enjoyed it. I did acquire a couple of seats while I was there. Looking forward to working with the Police Bureau Association as well as members from across the state. Thank you very much. Parish President announcement.
Yes, in reference to the Police Bureau Association conference between the council members and myself, who attended every meeting that was offered at that convention. And I'm not exactly sure, but I think it might have been $200 per person, $300 per person for the 7 people that actually went from the parish council. So when you look at the types of information that we got back and the communications that's going on between those council members and myself and things that we can possibly do to better Iberia Parish, I think this was a much needed and added thing for Iberia Parish. With that said, Iberia Parish Public Works completion for the last 2 weeks. We cleaned culverts in District 3, 9, 10, 11, 13, and 14. We picked up debris in various districts. We had some downed trees in District 3, 5, and 8. We had some field drainage work done in 3, 9, 10, 12, and 14. We had some roadside drainage work done in District 2, 3, 9, and 10. We did some road grading in District 3, 9, 10, 12, and 14. We had some limestone work that we had to do in various districts, District 5, 9, 10, and 11. Road crossing in District 9, road patching in District 3, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. We had some road repairs done in District 10 and 12. Field ditch side booming work done in District 14, and shoulder work done in District 3, 9, 10, 12, and 14. Yesterday, I met with, day before yesterday, I met with the Iberia Parish Veterans Organization, which is an organization that we started maybe a year and a half ago or something. I think in February of 2018 we started it. So that's actually 2 years ago. And we had some very, very good discussions as far as things that veterans should be aware of and how they can reach different types of benefits, you know, things of that nature. Went very, very good. We have meetings every other month. And I want to start saying that because the goal is to try to get all of the veterans in Iberia Parish to start to try to attend this meeting. And we're talking every branch of service. We're talking Army, Navy, every branch of service. And we're in the process right now of trying to put some bricks at the Veterans Memorial that the mayor is working on right now behind the Bolognese Plaza. So if anyone is interested in that, they need to give me a call so we can give them the actual information that they need to try to get bricks in memory of their loved one's name or their name or whatever the case is. I want to pass on one other thing. As far as obtaining or businesses trying to get occupational license and liquor license, people need to start doing that. People that own a business need to come to the courthouse on the 4th floor and get their occupational license and their liquor license. Just come to the 4th floor. When you get to the lady at the front desk, she's going to tell you exactly what needs to be done. And the reason I'm saying that is because we're going to start enforcing it. And I'm going to come to the parish council and I'm going to try to get some type of penalty to where people that have businesses that don't have occupational license, we need to do something about that. At this particular time, I'm going to get Amy to come up if she have a few minutes and talk a little bit about the GIS system that we have in Iberia Parish. And just in case you guys have any questions, you can talk to her about what she's doing here. And while she's getting ready, just so you know, the next person I'm going to bring up is Mike Pugh, and I want Mike to talk about our 5-year coastal plan and road air cooling. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you. Mr. Larry asked me to come and introduce our public GIS web portal. This is something that's been in the works for a really long time, and it became active in the 4th quarter of 2019. We did a soft opening and put it on the website, and a few people have found it. This is the first public announcement that we're making of it. So the best way to find it is to go to the main IberiaParishGovernment.com website. Scroll down to the bottom. There's a footer down here with assorted other things. GIS Maps is our portal. And what it features are some maps. Some of these maps have been tucked away on the departmental pages. Kind of you have to do a scavenger hunt to find them. The zoning map has been on the website for many years, but tucked away on the planning and zoning page. The bulk waste zones, mosquito, truck zones, those things have been on the website for a long time too. But now we've collected them all into one site. The featured maps at the top are the ones that statistically have been used most often by the public, the ones that have been tucked away on the pages. Then below that section is a gallery of all the public maps that we have. And as we add other ones as time goes on, they'll be placed in this gallery as well. So each department that I've worked with to present a public map has given me some requests. Like people get requests of what council district am I in. You know, so with this map they can search for their address and it'll zoom right in to that address and they can see what that is. We've had an addressing project going on since 2011, and we still have about 5% of addressable buildings that we don't know what the addresses are. So the E911 department asked me to put this up so that people can report if we don't, if they look for their address and we have a 0 at their structure instead of an address, then they can report it to E911. So the rest of these are fairly self-explanatory: flood zone maps, parish zoning, mosquito zones. We have some caveats of how our data should be used with our data disclaimer in large type right here. My GIS department email address is here for contact, but we also have phone numbers for, and and in some cases, email addresses for the different departments that are responsible for some of this data. The only other thing I want to add is that we're hosting this map on our existing arcgis.com account. And since I'm the one that's in charge of fixing it up, anytime we need something new on it, it can be quickly put up. We already have plans for disaster response to add a section above featured maps for any kind of disaster response maps or survey forms, things of that nature. It's extremely flexible and quick to modify.
All right. You ready? You good?
That's really all I have, unless y'all, I mean, I think from using Google Maps, everybody's pretty familiar with the format. There's some, to get a legend, you've got a legend widget, a layer widget to turn layers on and off. This one has so few layers that they're always on. There's a measuring tool, and then printing. If someone wants to zoom into their particular area and print the map, they can do so with the printing widget. The address. So, of course, this is the city where our zoning map. But anyway, we're zoomed in. We're using 2018 aerial photography as a base map.
All right. Eugene.
Yes.
One comment I want to make is that we want to map all of our drainage lines, our sewer lines, our water lines, etc., to where we're going to know exactly where everything is in Iberia Parish. When you go to this particular coulee, we're going to know you have a 50-foot right-of-way, 100-foot right-of-way, or whatever. And we have to realize Naomi is a one-person department. She did a lot of this work on her own. She saved us a lot of money. She's doing a phenomenal job, and I want to tell you that publicly that
Thank you.
I appreciate what you're doing for Iberia Parish. But we're heading in the right direction. GIS is a very, very important tool that you could use to do a lot of things. And earlier, I think it was Paul had mentioned broadband fiber. Of course, that's something that we're looking at doing in Iberia Parish. In fact, we had a meeting last week on it. Once we get all of that, we want all of that layered as well. We want to know where everything is in Iberia Parish through our GIS system. And it's a big opportunity for us. So we're trying to do it here. We're trying to do it all over the place, but Iberia Parish is the #1 concern. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, I want to bring up Mr. Mike Pugh, and the reason I want to bring Mike Pugh up back, I guess sometime last year. I don't know what month it was of last year. We talked about the 5-year master plan, coastal master plan, and we have one structure that we're looking to put up. We had some communications issues, so we changed, but I want to make sure you guys understand that what we're changing to is still consistent with the CPRA's plan. Mike?
Yeah, so I guess it was last summer when this was presented, and the 3 structures that were selected to begin on were Jefferson Canal, People's Coulee, and Segura East. Segura East is the one that was some communication issues with the landowner, and the administration made a decision to move that money to the same type of structure on Rodair Coulee, which is experiencing a lot of the same flooding conditions upstream. Just to walk you through, I think we went through this before, to walk you through how the state funds things through the Coastal Master Plan is they'll participate on projects a lot more aggressively where local dollars are in play if those dollars are being spent on projects that are within their plan. And all the structures we initially picked were within the plan. The only difference with this one is it's not along the alignment, but it provides the same benefits at the plan. And they have the ability to analyze these projects, and if it enhances their system and it provides the same benefits, they call it consistent with the plan, and it can participate with funding. And we've already submitted this to them, been on several conference calls with them in meetings, and they're treating it as consistent and will participate on funding with this structure. Now, we haven't begun engineering yet, but it's the same type of structure as the other 2. It's a water control structure. It's a piece of the overall system, but it stands alone and provides benefit by itself, which they call utility. And it's going to alleviate flooding upstream of the Port of Iberia.
And
Okay.
can I add something?
Go ahead.
And just for council information, we've had meetings with, for example, Tabasco, Avery Island, Eugene was there, I think
Rappahannock,
Marty was
yeah.
there. And we have several, and I don't think you was at that one, but you'll be at the next one if you're available. We have several things that we have to do in Iberia Parish to try to protect us from flooding issues and keep us in line with CPRA. For example, the meeting that we had in at Avery Island, where the road ends and you got the waterway where the bridge is, you're more than likely going to need a structure there, and that particular structure is not on the CPRA master plan, but it is consistent. From my understanding right now, of course, it will be evaluated and everything before we would try to get something like that done. But what I'm trying to tell you is that we're going to have to protect Iberia Parish. I mean, we don't have levees like they're starting to look at building on each side of us. We're going to have to figure out how to keep this water from coming into us on a regular occurrence. And some of the things that we may go after, as long as we're consistent and we're working with CPRA and making them understand what we're doing before we try to do it, I think we're going to be okay. But we have to look at Iberia Parish to protect this parish from water.
Well, yeah, and the idea is you have a limited amount of money.
That's right.
And these projects are expensive. The state has a lot of money, but it's not infinite. And to select projects that, number one, provide direct benefit, and number two, where you can count on the state to come in and fund the largest portions of these projects so you can stretch your dollars out, is the idea here. As opposed to go and build a project that you think is good for Iberia Parish, you take all your resources in that one project and they determine that, well, it's not consistent and it doesn't fit within our plan. They don't participate within the funding. Now you've exhausted your resources.
Exactly. And this was just for your information, so you guys could know exactly what it is that we're doing, and want to make sure that as we move forward with anything pertaining to whatever, informing the council on what's going on and getting your blessings, if that make any sense.
Okay, you
Thank
done?
Yes.
Is a question related to the agenda item? I'd rather wait, or to the engineer? Okay, all right.
Okay, so obviously these control structures are to kind of prevent, I guess, if you will, the high tide coming in, correct? What happens with the water coming down where some decent rainfall? What happens to that water?
It goes out the same way. It's a leaky system where it's a one-way gate. The water can always get out, but it keeps the water from coming in.
All right.
Okay. And it's still consistent with the levee board's plan that they had once before. Was there a pumping station there or
Not
all
well,
pits?
so there's that plan, which is
Okay.
included in CPRA's master plan,
Okay.
is ultimately to build a navigation gate in the commercial canal that would
Okay.
have a pumping station. That gate would only close in the event of a storm.
Right. Got you.
Where your day-to-day events, again, the storm we're guarding against here with these smaller structures is you get a 3 to 5 day south wind. And we've been having a lot of them the last few years, particularly around March, April, all the way through August. And Vermilion Bay, Weeks Bay fills up. The tides are 3, sometimes 3.5 feet in excess of normal. So those canal systems get plugged with water. And you get a 3 to 4 inch rain on Admiral Doyle. And that water's got to go through that one channel to get out. It can't go anywhere because it's stacked up with 3 foot of water. This would prevent that 3 foot slug of water to being stacked up to that upstream end of the canal, and it would give you 1 million gallons of additional storage and reduce the flooding in some cases as much as a foot.
But the thought of
upstream.
some of those canals where they were able to close it and then pre-pump the canal for that.
When the whole
torrential
system's in
downpour,
place,
right.
right, there would be pumping
Correct.
stations at all your major canals, and then borrow pits that connect the whole 26 miles of system. So
Gotcha.
in the event of a storm and you close your system, you could run your pumps and drain your system down, and you had more storage available on the inside, and you were protected from storm surge on the outside. That's what the whole system in place.
But we need a lot more than $5 million to accomplish that.
You
A
need
lot.
about add a few zeros to that. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just wanted to clarify.
Thank you, Warren. Any other questions?
I know this is going to be discussed in committee. Do you want me to keep him around here for your discussion in committee? Or?
I got nowhere to go. I'm good.
Okay, good. It's up to
Okay,
you.
thank you, I appreciate that. Okay, we'll go ahead and
That's it for my report, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we'll go ahead and move on. Consent agenda items for public hearing and adoption. Minutes, regular meeting of February the 5th, 2020. Summary number 22, introduced by James P. Trahan, District 8. A resolution of condolence to the family of Mr. John Wayne Frew, Sr., former District 10 councilman who passed away on February the 1st, 2020. Summary number 23, introduced by Lady Brown Fontenot, District 12. A resolution proclaiming March 2020 as Women History Month. Summary number 24, introduced by Eugene A. Olivier Sr., District 10. A resolution proclaiming 2020 as the year to embrace the Gulf in order to highlight coastal issues in Louisiana as part of the CWPPRA's 30th anniversary this year. And summary number 25, introduced by legal counsel, a resolution authorizing the parish president to execute amendment number 3 to master agreement for ground ambulance service by and between Iberia Parish Government and Acadian Ambulance Service, Inc., related to Iberia Parish Jail to provide for the effective date thereof and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. Summary number 26, introduced by the Clerk of the Council, a resolution accepting the resignation of Mr. Tracy J. Miguez as a member of Iberia Parish Sewer District Number 1, effective April the 1st. I have a motion by Paul Landry, a second by Marty Trahan. Would anyone like to remove any consent agenda items? If not, roll call. That, Brian? That motion carries. We'll move now into ordinance introduction for public hearing and adoption. There is none. Resolution introduced for public hearing and adoption. Summary number 27, introduced by the parish president. A resolution authorizing the renewal of A, group health insurance benefit with Blue Cross Blue Shield Louisiana. B, dental benefits with Guardian. And C, life insurance benefit with Dearborn Life, and each for the period beginning on April the 1st, 2020 through March the 31st, 2021. I need a motion by Lloyd Brown. I need a second by Michael Landry. Lloyd, any comments?
Waive.
Michael?
Waive.
Okay, there's no other comments. Roll call. That motion carries. Summary number 28, introduced by the Clerk of the Council, a resolution authorizing the Council Chairman to execute addendum number 2 to recodification contract with the Munito Code for the compiled ordinance of Iberia Parish and further authorize payment in accordance with said payment schedule, which has been budgeted in the 2020 general fund budget. I have a motion by Lloyd Brown, a second by Michael Landry. Lloyd?
Waive.
Michael?
Waive.
There's no further comments. Roll call. That motion carries. Summary number 29, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 Public Building Maintenance Fund budget to provide for various carryover within the said budget. Need a motion in a second. Motion by Michael Landry, second by Paul Landry. Michael?
Waive.
Paul? There's no other comments. Roll call. That motion carries. Summary number 30, introduced by the parish president. A resolution authorizing the parish president appointment of the position of Director of Permitting, Planning, and Zoning, and further approve the president's established salary for said position, all in accordance with Section 4-01A and B of the Iberia Parish Home Rule Charter. Note, motion will need to be the motion will need to be suspending of the rules, as this item was not considered by the Finance Committee. So we first need to vote to suspend the rules. Have a motion by Paul, a second by Scott Ronsonnet. Paul?
Waive.
Scott?
Waive.
Michael?
Waive.
You good? Okay, we're voting to suspend the rules. We need 10 votes. Roll call. That motion carries. Now the agenda item itself, I need a motion and a second. Motion by Paul, a second by Scott Ronson. Larry, you have the floor.
Well, this person, as you know, I've been interviewed for a while. I interviewed probably 10 or 11 people, whatever the number is. And this is a person that we're looking to bring in as the director of planning and zoning. And which I prefer not mentioning the person's name, if we can. But that particular person is an engineer that we're looking to do a lot of things in Iberia Parish. Of course, you know, we're looking at trying to bring sewer district in, working at the public works facility. We have a lot of things we're trying to bring together in Iberia Parish. This person happened to be an engineer, a professional engineer, and I think that we can certainly use those types of qualifications in Iberia Parish, moving Iberia Parish forward. And with that said, I'm going to ask you guys to support this particular person. The salary that we paid Sarah was $69,300 and something. This particular salary for this person would be $75,000, which is a bit over $5,000 more. But we're getting a person that we need to realize that is an engineer that can help us in a lot of areas. Of course, the primary function of this person is going to be planning and zoning. However, we do a lot of things where we can use the expertise of a civil engineer in the work that we do, particularly from public works and those types of areas. So that's my choice for this particular position.
Andy?
Y'all gonna have to identify him.
Yes.
We're going to have to identify him? I have to put his name in the resolution?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this person worked for a company right now, so I was hoping that I didn't have to do that, but no, I'm going to have to identify. I'm going to have to do it. Do what? So you have to get the guy's name?
Larry, you still have the floor?
What is it name anyway? What is it? Hold on one second. Let me make sure I have his name correct. Of course, I don't even know the guy. I'm looking at resumes and qualifications is what I'm trying to do here. I think his name is Reese Boudreau. Reed Boudreau. Reed Boudreau.
Reed Boudreau.
Reed Boudreau.
Okay. I'll call on you in a minute, Warren. You finished, Larry?
Hold on one second. I want to look at something from Donna to make sure I have all of this correct with what I'm telling you. Make sure his name is correct is what I'm looking for, Scott. Cindy? Is it Reed? Reed Boudreau. I surely did. Reed Boudreau. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Warren?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Larry, I think for the price, everybody at this table is going to agree. For a civil engineer, it's a pretty good price. My only concern with it is he here for longevity? Because there's a lot that's going to go on over the next couple of years, as you know, with
Absolutely.
the stormwater management. Sarah did a great job. It's sad to see her go. I just like to make sure that in your interview with him,
We had that discussion, and he's here for longevity.
okay. I can't wait to
And
meet
he's
him.
an
I'm
Iberia
glad I got his
Parish
name.
resident as well.
Say again?
He's an Iberia Parish resident
Perfect.
as well.
I'm good, Eugene.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Lloyd? Yeah. Larry, I know that you interview him, and I trust your judgment, and I'm going to support that.
Thank you. As you can tell, I had to come up with the guy's name. This is not something I'm doing to try to get someone in. This is an appointed position by the parish president.
Right.
I could have brought any name up here, but I'm trying to find the most qualified person in my mind
Right.
for the parish that's going to move this parish in the direction where I think we need to go. We have a lot of work to do to get where I think we need to be, and I think he's going to be a great asset and I think he's going to add value to what we are trying to do here in Iberia Parish.
Right.
Thank you guys for your vote.
Larry, we're gonna need an effective hire date
He's going to need 2 weeks.
in 2 weeks.
Scott said he's going to need a vacation. Scott's been doing planning and zoning, so.
Is any other comments? Nope. Roll call. That motion carries.
Okay, excuse me, since I had to give his name, I think I better call him. Yeah. Before I see it somewhere.
Okay, summary number 31, introduced by Iberia Hospital Service District Number 1. A resolution acknowledging the receipt of the 2019 fiscal year audit of Iberia Hospital Service District Number 1, Iberia Medical Center, provided for the effective date thereof and otherwise provide with the respect thereto. This motion needs to be, the rules need to be suspended for this motion because it wasn't considered on the Finance Committee. Andy, can you just briefly explain why we're doing this?
Yeah, these are routine matters that the acknowledgement of this audit is actually the job of the hospital service district. What I'm trying to do is to, as you know, you have a number of your boards and agencies and commission that are part of your composite audit. You have a few that are not. So what I'm trying to do is to have those entities, when they're audited, when they get their audit, to come forward and make a report like Dion did tonight, give you an idea of what's going on. And it's counterproductive for it to go to committee and then to come here, because and really the only reason I did a resolution is because it helps Brenda and others. If somebody says, oh, well, when did the audit come? Well, they can go keyword and they can find that resolution and find it. So that's why I have this resolution, just acknowledging receipt of, so we'll have a record or a history of it. So that's the reason it came directly to y'all as opposed to going through the committee.
Okay, we have a motion by Natalie Broussard and a second by Paul Landry. Natalie?
Wave.
Paul?
Wave.
Lloyd? Wave. Okay, roll call. Paul? That motion carries. What's that? Oh, that was a suspended. Okay, you're right. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, now the motion itself. I need a motion by Natalie and a second by Michael Landry. Natalie?
Wave.
Michael?
Wave.
Okay. No other comments? Roll call. That motion carries. That's the end of the agenda. I need a motion to adjourn. Motion by Tommy Pollitt and a second by Michael Landry. Roll call. Chad? Oh, Brad? Brad, roll call. That motion carries.